This is states of heart, and I just lived my worst nightmare. While I was deployed overseas, the HOA president sold my land. Her excuse sounded clean on paper. She claimed I was an unfit owner. Unpaid assessments. Covenant violations. She said the community needed someone more responsible. Funny thing is, the only thing that got repossessed was her entire scheme by the National Guard, the sheriff, and U.S. Marshals, once the truth finally came out. Let me take you back, here on States of Heart, to how it all began. Texas taught me something early in life. The most dangerous weapons don't always wear badges or carry guns. Sometimes, they wear pearls and carry bylaws. My name is Mark Thomas. Most folks call me Tank. In the Army, I learned how to take hits and keep moving forward. I didn't know I'd need that same skill back home. Karen Cromwell was the HOA president of Willowbrook. She ran it like her personal kingdom. Smiles at community picnics. Threats behind closed doors. Rules that changed depending on who she wanted gone. My office wasn't a suburban home study. It was my grandpa's old red barn. Hand-cut boards. The smell of sawdust and oil. From that desk, I could see the 10 acres he left me, the pond, the mesquite pit, the open Texas sky. To me, it wasn't just land. It was bloodline. To Karen, it was a prize. I was on a video call that made my palms sweat. On the screen was Investigator Miller from the Texas Attorney General's office. Tired eyes. Calm voice. The look of a man who's heard too many stories like mine. My wife Elena sat beside me, steady as always, watching the connection. Out here, service drops fast, especially when storms roll in, and the clouds on the horizon looked angry. Mr. Thomas, Miller said, you're alleging the Willowbrook HOA foreclosed on your property while you were on active duty. Is that correct? That's correct, sir. They stacked fake fines. Landscaping violations for grass that was too green. Fence violations for a fence my grandfather built decades before the HOA existed. Notices sent while I was deployed. Elena fought every single one. Karen buried her in paperwork. All of it over a manufactured debt of $847. They pushed it to a trustee sale while I was overseas. The gavel dropped at noon. Deed transferred to Cromwell Holdings, Karen's shell company. They sold my land while I was deployed. Elena squeezed my arm. While I was gone, she discovered this wasn't just about us. Karen was targeting military families, twisting the Service Members Civil Relief Act into a loophole. We need intent, Miller said. We need a smoking gun. I leaned forward. My grandfather kept the mineral and water rights, not just for my land, but for the entire subdivision. Miller froze. Before he could speak, a shadow crossed the barn doorway. Then the door exploded inward. The heavy oak door my grandfather hung himself flew off its hinges. Karen Cromwell stood there in a pink cardigan and pearls, completely wrong for a dusty barn. Two large men stood behind her, HOA compliance officers who looked more like hired muscle. Her eyes flicked from me to Elena to the laptop. Well, she smiled. I hear you're back. She stepped into my barn. Her men blocked the exit. On the screen, Investigator Miller stared in disbelief. He was watching a crime happen live. Training kicked in. Two hostiles. No visible weapons. Heart rate steady. Karen, I said calmly, you just committed trespass in front of a state investigator. She called the cops and claimed I assaulted her. They cuffed me until Elena played the footage of Karen kicking the door in first. The cuffs came off. Apologies followed. Karen still smiled. Then the lights went out. Power dead. Phones dead. Internet dead. A cell jammer. Illegal. Deliberate. Karen smiled wider. Just a compliance inspection, she said. She thought she had me trapped. She didn't know the barn had its own generator. The light snapped back on. Elena's tablet lit up. Scout is airborne, she said calmly. Karen ordered her men to search the property. They weren't searching. They were planting evidence. We watched it live, 2 guards breaking into Elena's truck, sliding a package under the seat. So we let them finish. Then Elena hit one button. The truck filled with military-grade pepper fog. The neighborhood listened as Freddie narrated everything over ham radio like a live broadcast. Karen's plan collapsed in smoke. She stormed out furious. Then the storm hit for real. Flash flooding trapped the HOA treasurer in his car. I went in after him. Pulled him out with a rope and help from my neighbor, Colonel Jerry. Shaking in the mud, the treasurer handed me a zip drive. "The real ledger," he whispered. She was going to kill me. That drive was everything. Embezzlement. Kickbacks. Forged liens. Payments to violate federal law. Then we found the final gift. My grandfather's original deed. The HOA's pool and headquarters were built on my land. They didn't just steal my property. They built their empire on it. We sent everything to the AG, JG, and the press. At dawn, the cavalry arrived. Sheriffs. Marshals. Investigators. Karen tried to run. She didn't get far. They arrested her in the mud, pearls crooked, empire gone. She locked eyes with me as they took her away. I didn't smile. Weeks later, the HOA was dissolved. Fines erased. Homes returned. The barn became something new, a place for veterans, neighbors, healing. Because a home isn't just a house. It's legacy. It's identity. It's something you defend. Karen thought she was fighting one man. She was wrong. She was fighting a soldier, his wife, a community, and the truth. And that's the kind of story we tell here on States of Heart. If you're still listening, stay with the channel. Because some battles don't happen on the battlefield. They happen at home.